or yeah.
I love people.
It's on the reference
If I
sheet.
don't know anybody, I'm super uncomfortable. And Little Miss
it is 6 o'clock. I'd like to welcome everyone
get my
to the
email?
May 12, 2025 Franklin County Community School Corporation regular school board meeting. And we will now call this meeting to order. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. We have three young gentlemen that are going to lead the pledge for us, Tucker, Gunner, and Sawyer. So whenever you guys are ready.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Guys.
Good job, guys. First up is celebrations. Mr. Geary.
Well, just want to thank the board for the opportunity to celebrate a couple of different accomplishments this month. We're going to start things off with our staff of the month. So we're going to bring up, and just so everyone kind of knows, we will do our staff of the month, and then our FCE sports, and then our JAG. And then after that, we'll pause, and we'll line up some pictures, and then we'll get back to the agenda, and that'd be a good time if you wanted to dip out. That'd be a perfect time to do so, but you're welcome to stay, of course. So I'd like to welcome up our support staff of the month. Let's welcome Miss Emily Wetzel. Come on up. Speak for you. I have more for you in just a moment. Superintendent Mr. Dustin Gehring is excited to announce Miss Emily Wetzel has been selected as May's support staff of the month. Emily is a paraprofessional in Brookville Elementary School who has dedicated 3 years to helping our young learners. Ms. Wetzel plans to pursue a degree in elementary education in the future. Emily was nominated for this honor by a parent. When asked why Ms. Wetzel should be considered for this recognition, she responded, "Emily always has a smile on her face every morning at Carline. She always says good morning to each student, making them feel welcome and valued. You can tell she enjoys being with the students, and to me, that is so important." In her spare time, Emily loves having Sunday dinners with her parents and having friends over to hang out in the backyard. Emily and her husband, Joey, have 3 boys who we just met. So spending time with family and friends is everything. They enjoy playing outside, gardening, and going on adventure walks. Fun fact, she loves to find old rustic items and make new uses for them. Interesting, okay. On Wednesday in the summer, you can find Emily, her boys, and her mom at the sale barn. When asked what the best part of her job is, Ms. Wetzel responded, "Greeting students at the morning drop-off is how I start my day. I love that I get to be a friendly face for the students, but also parents. One of the best parts about my job is that I get to work with some really amazing students. I work one-on-one with students and watch them achieve milestones not only academically, but socially as well. Another great part about my job is that I work with some really amazing teachers I get to learn and grow from watching them. No 2 days are ever the same." Ain't that the truth? But I love every minute of it. The students, staff, and teachers are all family and a part of the Team BES. I feel very blessed to be part of Team BES. And I'll just take a moment to mention this as well. I've had a lot of years of seeing a lot of folks in the classroom, and there's something that you kind of develop over time is that you see the it. You see that thing that sets someone apart. I call it the Mary Poppins effect, where they just tend to float around the room and everyone really likes to follow and the guidance. And I've seen that with Emily doing the work in the classroom. She's got it for sure. So when she pursues that degree, I can't wait till she works for us in that realm as well. So you're not allowed to go anywhere else. You have to be with us for sure. But congratulations and thank you very, very much. Appreciate you so much, Miss Emily Wetzel. Go ahead and make your way around.
Forgive me for not standing.
Thank you for everything you do.
Emily, would you mind introducing to us who you have with you?
My 3 boys, Tucker, Gunner, and Sawyer.
Well, thank you for letting us borrow her every single day. We are blessed. Well, did you take care of Mom?
Yeah.
Did you take care of Mom yesterday? Of course you did. Did they take care of you? Okay, fantastic. One more time, Ms. Wetzel. All right, I'd like to welcome up our certificated staff member of the month, or educator of the month. Let's welcome Mr. Trent Liggett. Superintendent Mr. Dustin Gary is pleased to announce that Mr. Trent Liggett has been selected as May's Educator of the Month. Mr. Liggett is in his first year as principal at Franklin County Middle School. In total, Trent has been in education for 32 years, 13 years teaching and 19 years in administration. Time flies, right? Absolutely. He brings a wealth of knowledge to the corporation, having the following qualifications: Master in Arts in Education Leadership and Supervision K-12, Master of Arts in Education and a Bachelor of Arts in Junior High/Middle School Education, Social Studies, Environmental Studies, and then of course also coaching endorsement, all of which he obtained from Ball State University. Mr. Liggett was nominated for this honor by a parent. Now, you don't see a lot of parents nominating a principal for Staff of the Month, but here we are. Fantastic. Probably why you stood out so much in the nomination process. Mr. Liggett was nominated for this honor by a parent. When asked why Trent should be considered for this recognition, she responded, "Trent is great at communicating with parents and making it known that he is available to help students. My child has an IEP and Trent attends the meetings, takes notes, and makes very helpful suggestions. Additionally, I've seen him at sporting events, taking pictures and cheering the students on. I think he is a great addition to FCMS and is very caring. You can tell that he really enjoys his profession." Trent is involved in several community activities or organizations, including IDOE, School Advanced Safety Specialist for the past 16 years, Indiana Association of School Principals, Kappa Delta Pi Honor Society in Education, and Retired Teachers Association. In his free time, as if he has any, Trent enjoys spending time with his family. He has 2 grandchildren who are with him tonight, Mia and Claire. Mia? Yes? Mia? Yes. Okay. Who help him enjoy the simple things in life. Mr. Liggett has received a generous amount of awards, recognitions, and honors over the years, and there's quite a list on the second page. When asked what he loves most about his job, Mr. Liggett responded, "The best part of my job is the opportunity to make a meaningful impact on the entire school community, including students, teachers, and families. I enjoy shaping the school's culture, setting academic and behavioral expectations, and supporting both student growth and teacher development. The most rewarding aspect is watching students thrive and knowing I have a small part in helping them create the conditions for that success." And there is a good amount of awards here. Most notable, IDOE Assistant Principal of the Year over at Delta Middle School, as well as a Perfect Attendance Award as well. We see that as well. And then also is one at Centerville, a Teacher of the Year and a Staff of the Month. This has really been a standout, and we are blessed, absolutely blessed to have him. Big round of applause. Let's hear from Mr. Trent Liggett. Mr. Liggett, would you mind introducing us to who you have with you?
I do have my daughter-in-law Abby and my 2 grandchildren Claire and Mia.
I bet they're proud of you. I bet they're real proud of you. One more time for Mr. Liggett. All right. We'd like to bring up Mr. Herbert, who's going to help us walk through our FCE Sport recognition. Let's give him a big round of applause.
All right, so a couple of weeks ago, we won this second place trophy. It's not quite the big one, but that's next year, all right? So that's what we got here. So here's the deal. On Saturday, April 26th, the Wildcat Esports Fortnite team traveled to the LA Pittenger Student Center at Ball State University to compete in the 2025 IEN, that stands for Indiana Esports Network, state finals. The Fortnite team consists of Kobe Doherty, Riot Lewis, Riley Moran, and Carson Wilhelm. And fellas, if you would, come on up here. We'll get you up here. Yeah, come on down. Just stand up here. Be good. All right, so this was the biggest and most successful IEN finals yet. Over 850 players showed up and coaches to win matches, take home trophies, and grab cool swag, and continue building esports across the state. The match had plenty of drama. It was originally scheduled for 3 o'clock, but due to some schedule conflicts, teams were asked to move up the match time to 2 o'clock. They arrived at Ball State and began practicing well ahead of the schedule. One unique thing about esports is that players don't always get to see their opponents face-to-face like a normal basketball or a baseball game. Instead, you're playing against a screen, and you can't really see them. You just see screen names, which is kind of crazy. But this event gave players the chance to finally put faces to the usernames they've been competing against all year. We actually recognized some of these usernames, and we're like, all right, now I get some names with these faces. At about 2:10, remember, we were supposed to start at 2. At about 2:10, students were in the lobby, patiently waiting for the production team to start the match. All players readied up, and the match began prematurely. In Fortnite, once all players hit the ready button, the match starts automatically. Unfortunately, the production team was not ready. We were cooking, though. We were taking them out, but we had to cancel that first game. While the world was still waiting for the live stream to begin, the players thought the final match was underway. It was not, so we had to stop and start a new match. Once the stream finally went live, the shoutcasters, as they're called in esports, announced the teams. The final AA Fortnite match of the year was officially underway. Franklin County took the first round of the match. Good job, boys. With Carson playing the long game, staying alive just long enough to be the last one standing in the storm. Hobart High School's team experienced a networking issue with one of their PCs during the first round. Scottsburg came back strong in round 2 to earn the first of many round wins, eventually becoming the AA Fortnite champions. After the second round, there was a pause in the match to replace Hobart High School's network cable as they continued to have issues. During that lull, the teams actually entertained the rest of the world with a dance-off, and you can see that on Twitch. It is amazing. Scottsburg continued to build momentum, winning several more rounds in a row. Franklin County rallied back with 2 consecutive wins, putting them within striking distance. At that point, the score was Scottsburg with 4, FC with 3, Norwell with 1, and Hobart with 0. And it was 10 rounds to compete in, so we still had a chance. There was still hope that the Wildcats could take home the trophy. Unfortunately, Scottsburg claimed victory in round 8, securing the championship. The final round of the match went to Hobart. Franklin County Wildcats came away from Ball State with a runner-up trophy, some fun new experiences, and a lot of amazing memories. The boys played their hearts out, and we knew coming into match 2 things: that we were the underdogs, and we also had a chance at a trophy. We didn't come away with the big win, but we did something that our school has never done before. We made it to state finals, and we brought home our first hardware. So I'm super proud of this team. They did a great job, y'all.
That's it. All right, we're going to send you guys on around, shake some hands. Okay? Congratulations. Fantastic.
Congratulations. That's great. Fantastic. Congratulations.
Good job. Awesome.
Great job.
Taking your time.
Thank you.
Great job. Great job.
Thank you.
Good work.
Thank you.
All right, we have one more group to celebrate, and then we'll take those pictures. And as always is the case, it's a great time to spread the word about the exciting things happening in FC, of course with esports, and then also with our JAG program. I want to welcome up Tanya Wirtz, who's going to talk to us about our champions in the JAG program. Let's welcome her with a big round of applause.
Thanks. It's great to be here twice in 1 year to have my kids recognized and celebrated. Mr. Gary and I were talking, and after state, thought about maybe having them come recognized. I'm like, maybe we'll wait until nationals, because my PBL team and our creative decision-making team actually both won at the state level. They beat out 11 other teams in our state and came home with $500 each in scholarship and stuff for them, and got to go and compete at nationals in April. Great. It was prom weekend that we got to go. Yeah, I'm in charge of after prom, so we had to make it back. So we went for 2 days, and there was over 1,800 JAG students from across the country. We figured it about 40 teams, we think, in each of the different competitions for PBL and creative decision making. They're winners in my eyes. They may not have come home with the top 10, but for them to go and compete, if you saw some of the pictures on Facebook and stuff, they were definitely dressed to impress, which was great to see them all being so professionally dressed. The networking that they got to do was absolutely amazing. I only have 3 of the girls with me today, but I'm going to bring them up. Madison Shepard, Desiree Dowers, and Caroline Aaron. Come on up. So these 3, Caroline did a different competition at our regionals and came in as an extra for us on the creative decision making, because we had a couple kids that said they weren't going to go, but then when they won at state level, they're like, we can go now. Of course you can. So we had teams of 4. So for me to be able to take 8 students to Indianapolis, they had to raise money to be able to get to go and compete and stuff. I just could not be more proud of what they've been able to accomplish this year in the JAG program and stuff.
Tell us about those 2 competitions again. You gave us the initials, but what are those competitions? Like, what did they have to do? What did you have to do? What did you have to do?
Well, I did the business plan for regionals and creative decision making for nationals. And for business plan, I was with 2 other people, and we had to come up with they gave us a prompt, and we had to come up with our own business and financial everything and advertising, everything that goes along with running a business, and present it to a few judges, and we ended up coming in third place for that, so we didn't go to state for that, but then I joined in on creative decision-making with Maddie and her group.
And what is creative decision-making?
You get a paper and it gives you a task or a problem that you need to solve, and then you have some resources, like some papers that give you like some ideas, but you have 30 minutes to make an entire poster board and an entire presentation to give to the judges.
And at the state level with the creative decision-making, there was 3 different rooms that they judged in, so each room picked a top winner, and then they went back in front of a bigger group of judges to do their presentation again to actually win it at state.
What were we gonna say?
I did PBO, which stands for project-based learning, and basically we had to come up with like a project that would like affect our community positively, and like we had to take away something from the project, of course, and we did it for special needs inclusivity with our JAG class. So we went and did activities with them once a month, and it made a lot more connections that we had before.
That's phenomenal. Let's give these guys a big round of applause. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Super job.
Thank you. Congratulations. Oh, my goodness, so proud. Thank you.
Good job.
Good job. Thank you. Good job.
Team in front of the Wildcats. Everybody, so the JAG team right over here.
Thank you.
How many went there?
I think it will be nice.
We had about 100.
All that's donated, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you're right here with Ms. Duffy. All right, go ahead and bring up our FCE sports squad. Come on up. There we go. That trophy right here.
I'm so glad we did this. I'm so glad we did this.
You broke the medal already. All right, big smile. All right, we'll bring our staff of the month up, and then after staff of the month, we'll have the family pictures. So let's go ahead and bring up Trent and Emily. Come on over for your picture. And then we'll have our support squad come up in just a second. All right, Emily, come on up. Go ahead. Trent, you, and then the whole squad. Okay, great. All right, Trent, you want to hop back in, and then all of our supporters come on over, jump on in, send the little ones in the picture as well. We'd love to have them in there. There you go. Perfect, perfect, perfect. There we go.
She really didn't.
All right.
She was like, why is
so much.
everyone
And
staring at
if you'd like
me?
to go, now's the perfect time to do so. We're going to make that transition.
Aw.
Thank you again.
Bless her heart.
Just in time.
Hi.
Wanted her picture.
It's so funny, she noticed that.
You just see it. That was so cute. And it empties out.
It's like everybody's looking at
While we're making that transition, just want to take note of how important that Portrait of a Learner series of skills is going to be as we think about these other things that we celebrate. We love our athletes. They do fantastic work, but it's also great to acknowledge so many other hardworking students here and some of the skills that they are building along the way. They're going to really pay off for them dividends in their work life, and it connects right to our Portrait of a Learner, which is still in process, and we have one more meeting to go. But I think it all really has all arrows pointing in the same direction. So thanks for that opportunity.
Okay, next is the consent agenda items. That's minutes, expenditures, and resignations. We need a motion, second, and discussion.
I'll move to accept.
Motion to
second.
approve. Katie seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. 7-0. Next is personnel new hires. Mr. Geary.
Yeah, we have a short list here today. April Isaacs is going to be joining us as special education paraprofessional at BES, pending board approval, moving from part-time to full-time. Haley Halloran, cafeteria at BES. Shaylin Stamper, cafeteria FCMS. Morgan Taylor, special education teacher FCMS. Misty Freeze, Plato supervisor / ISS at FCHS. Lindsay Bowling, cafeteria at FCHS.
We need a motion, second, and discussion.
I'll move to approve
Ms.
new
Brown
hires.
makes a motion to approve. Do we have a second? Ms. Wilson? Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. 7-0. Next is personnel extracurricular.
For personal extracurricular, we have 4 members coming back to the meeting today. We have Kyle Van Meter, head girls basketball coach, Zach Frank, varsity assistant girls basketball coach, Michael Kristoff, JV girls basketball coach, Abigail Woods, head freshman girls basketball coach.
Again, looking for a motion, second, and any discussion.
I'll move.
Mr. Simonson, motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I have
Katie?
second.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. 5. All those opposed? 1. Abstention? 1. Motion passes. Next is field trips.
Dustin Riley, athletic director, is requesting permission for the boys varsity basketball team to attend Super Hoops. This is an overnight trip on 6/27 and 6/28. I need a first, second, discussion, and vote.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Foster to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Ms. Wilson, do we have any discussion?
The supervision, is that just the coaches?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we started bringing them out if they're overnight trips, just to discuss and let everybody know what they're doing.
That's good.
Just out of curiosity, is this something they do every year, or do you know? I didn't
my
know.
first time, sir.
I was kind of looking at Beth. I wasn't sure if this
Yeah,
is
they
the
go
same
to-
one they always.
Well, this is different. This is, they went to Indiana Wesleyan, then they usually go to Indianapolis, and then this year it's somewhere else. I don't know.
So we have a motion and a second, right?
That's correct.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. 7-0. Next is financial reports. Ms. Kendra?
The education fund balance as of April 30th, 2025 was $6,842,774.41. A year ago, this balance was $5,510,569.37. The operations fund balance as of April 30th, 2025 was a negative $847,789.69. A year ago, this balance was $3,393,66.91. The rainy day fund balance as of April 30th, 2025 was $4,164,641.37. A year ago, this balance was $1,068,712.84. The investment interest earned year to date as of April 30th, 2025 was $156,180.87. This is compared to $204,503.15 a year ago.
This is discussion only. Any questions, discussion?
What will our piece be from property tax? I mean, what's the guesstimation there?
We have a lot of people trying to figure that out right now. Unfortunately, I can't bring a solid number to you. I will let you know as soon as we know more. Miss Shannon, you and I were at a conference last week, and we had a lot of people discussing this. And until the DLGF and the IDOE and State Board of Accounts can all kind of decipher through how to interpret the law and how to put it into action, we won't have a solid number for you.
So what is the guesstimated timeline?
We're really hoping that once the assessed values come out in August, what the overall growth is, we'll know a little bit more. But unfortunately, with the credits that are in place and the deductions, we won't truly know until we receive the collection in June of 2026.
Okay.
We can make a lot of educated and very prompt decisions around where we think we may be in August and be able to base our budget. And thankfully, our cash balance has made it to where we can weather any sort of storm that we may see, but we'll know more 100% after the collection in June of 26.
Something that folks maybe don't know, maybe even at home, is that when legislation is passed, the DLGF has to then decipher what does that legislation actually mean, and then it goes from there to look at our assessed value, how it applies to the assessed value, and then we budget based on what the DLGF says to us. This is what we should be budgeting on. But to Kendra's point, collections will be the most critical piece as everything comes together. But we'll be budgeting in the fall around what it looks like for school year, calendar year 26, but really school year 26, 27 is where we may see some different impacts as we're approaching next year, which status quo and the plan ahead of us. And then the year after that is the place that we start feeling a little bit of the tightness around what some of this legislation has passed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Kendra, I think you may be speaking on this anyway, but just as far as the operations fund, as of April 30th, at least showing a negative, can you speak maybe to that?
Yeah, so our negative, it is common for school corporations to run in the negative in anticipation for the settlement, the property tax settlement that will be coming at the end of May, early June. So once we see that, we'll see that number right size. And we did make a transfer from the education to operations to help with that. All of these are tools that the state has allowed us to carry us through because we only see collections or revenue in that account twice a year. It is very spread out.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else? Cafeteria report?
Mm-hmm. The cafeteria fund balance as of April 30th, 2025 was $153,385.62. This is compared to $507,951.39 a year ago. The latchkey fund balance as of April 30th, 2025 was $16,954.80. This is compared to $19,396.50 a year ago.
Any discussion?
I know I asked you about the cafeteria report last month. I mean, it's still holding its own, or yes? I know we made some investments, and that's where the money went, right?
It is, yep, and it is holding its own. We, per an direction, advice that she had got was to actually spend down the money. So it's been great to see that investment go into the cafeterias, and it is holding its own. It's doing great. She's doing a great job there.
I think she is too. Do you know, are we going to do the supplemental food availability this summer?
Yes, the summer food program, we will be doing that this summer. I believe she added 2 locations.
It's 5 total, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there's 5 total. I can't name all of them. I think the 2 that were added, one's in Cedar Grove and one's in
Arlington.
How do we get that info
No.
out, or
No,
when do
it's
we?
Andersonville.
Not Andersonville.
Andersonville.
So that'll be the next couple of weeks as we put it out through social media and through our weeklies, and we put it out that way.
Yeah, that's good.
So if Indiana's not backing it, where's the money coming from?
The summer food program,
They're backing it.
they are for.
They are back, did you see that come out?
Yeah, that's just the USDA portion.
Okay.
There are others involved besides that one.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next is, anything else? Next is statements from the public and employees, and we have no one signed up, so we will move on to old business. There is none. Next is new business.
Yeah, Mr. Hoover is actually with us here. Mr. Hoover, you want to come up and talk to us about this a little bit? And at the end, we'll make our recommendation. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening, everybody. How are you? For those who don't know, I'm Adam Hofer. I teach at the high school, and I'm here asking for your approval for our next international trip. So we've taken one so far last summer to the capitals of the British Isles, and we leave in 24 days to go to Germany, Switzerland, and Austria this summer. And so we're kind of making plans. We finally have gotten on our 2-year track, so the goal has always been to go the odd years, so we'll go in 2027. So we're going to do 2 back-to-backs from 2024 and 2025. And I sent out a survey to the kids, and they overwhelmingly want to go to Paris. And so that has been kind of the destination I've been looking forward to, trying to schedule. But what I'm coming tonight is asking for the possible approval of moving the trip from June to a spring break trip, and talking with our EF representatives, our travel company. It's a lot cheaper. We get kind of more confirmed and clarified travel dates that way. And so we like the June trip, but we also think that there are some benefits to going in the spring. Less travelers at that point in time, the dedicated flight times. It's usually cheaper by $500, $600, $700 to go in the spring. So those are some, I think, benefits to going in the spring. So I'm open to answering any questions you might have about the trip. And yeah.
So typically we go first, a second, then discussion and questions. Is that okay if we follow the process?
That's fine.
All right. Superintendent recommending that we approve the time frame as listed.
Need a motion?
I do.
I so move.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have a second?
One second.
All
Ms.
right.
Wilson? Any discussion?
Yeah, and I forget what I was gonna say. Oh, I know. Spring break.
Yes.
I know it's longer than 7 days.
Correct.
So how many are we taking before or after
Yeah.
spring break or, yeah?
Great question. I've put here requesting 2 days before and the possibility of 2 days after, and it probably wouldn't be both. They just need to have a little flexibility in that. Typically, a tour is between 10 to 11 days, so most of that would probably be covered during the 7 days that we would be gone on break. But we may miss 2 to 3 days of school. But I think the educational benefit is definitely a good outweigh of that as well. So. Yes, there would be some possible school missed days.
Thank you.
Around those missed days too, I know, I'm recalling like the Washington DC trip was similar. And those students just, I think, had like a makeup option. Some work they did, or on the trip did some work. Do you have any idea if it would be similar?
Yeah, we've talked about that a little bit. Usually on a field trip, students are responsible for kind of doing that work ahead of time, and so making sure that teachers are fully aware of what students will be gone, possible, staff chaperones, those types of things. So, making sure that everyone is aware of those things. But when they're on trip, having them do some reflection things, video types of things could definitely be a piece of that for sure. Yeah.
Excellent.
How many students do you have going?
This trip we have going in June, we have, there are 18 total of us going. Of the 18, there are 7 students going on this Germany trip. Last summer, we had 20 students go and 11 or 12 adults go.
And how's the weather in Paris during spring break? I would hate to see them go and it be nasty,
Yeah, and that's the one, you never know. I've been looking at some of the weather. It's more north, so it's maybe a little cooler than this area. We're going now in Germany. It's very comparable to where we are here in Indiana. But
There's snow in April, Adam.
yeah, there can in the Alps for sure. Yes, yes, there definitely can be for sure, as there can be here too. So
that's true.
Surprises
That's
every now and again.
true.
So yeah, it's definitely colder. We went to England last summer. It was pretty cool. It was in the 40s, 50s, low 60s some days. So yeah, that is one thing about the March time.
Yeah, I'd hate to see
coming out
them
of
go and
spring.
it'd be nasty. How do you fundraise for these trips?
Yeah, great question. The bulk of their payments come from the families, but we try to fundraise as much as we can to offset as much as possible. I had someone this year who raised close to $1,000 for their trip, so We work athletic games. We do typical fundraisers. We try to find that kind of out of the box things to do to try to help them raise money. So I do the best I can to try to help them raise as much as possible. So I think it's always on the kid to also put in that work too. So.
Well, it's a great adventure. I know you and I have talked about it already. I mean, getting the opportunity to go to Dock Chow and all these other places is amazing. And I want to thank you for all the work you've put in Franklin County already. Because you used to be our drama director and all those musicals. I mean, it was really just an outstanding job.
Thanks for the time. I appreciate that.
Just two things to add real quick.
I'll just ask a couple questions.
Yeah.
One, this is the same company you've used before.
Yeah, same company, yeah, same format as before, yep.
And just my other question, what are the requirements for someone to go? Is it any student or?
Yeah, any student so it would be class of
In high
27
school or-
who would be in high school. So it would be the graduating class of 2027 down to class of 2029 would all be eligible to sign up for it. And then behavioral is taken, so if there's any kind of major infractions, those things would disqualify a student. But other than that,
But it's not just kids taking certain classes.
yeah, it's open to any student. Any of their families can go. Staff members, school board members, you all are welcome to come along too. So. And,
I just have a clarifying question on the motion. We're just making a motion and voting to approve moving forward. We're not okaying specific dates. You're going to figure that out later?
Yeah, so we won't be able to nail down the dates until we get a little bit closer. Why I'm coming for approval tonight is because we'll have a kickoff probably right away in August, so maybe the second, third week of school. So I have to get all of that formulated over the summer. So I want to try to get approval of the trip, and then we'll nail down the dates as we get a little closer.
Just plan somewhere in Britain in the next 10 years, because my son's bound determined to go to Britain for
all right.
Very
We
good.
try to go back.
Fish and chips.
Yeah.
The end of this trip does go to London, so the very last 2 days is back to London.
Just two things. One, I know that it takes a lot for staff to take a trip like this. It's not a vacation. You are on, making sure you have kids everywhere you go, that they're doing all the right stuff, and that they're learning along the way. So thank you to you and all the chaperones willing to jump in and say yes to an experience like this. And then secondly, I would ask that when you do come back, that you come to the board and have your kids present some of their learnings along the way, maybe even in a short PowerPoint with some pictures of some of the fun things they did as well as what they learned. Does that sound okay?
Absolutely.
All right, very
You
good.
did that for this. You did
Yeah,
this.
and we'll plan to do that for the Germany one too once we get back.
Love that.
So, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Anything else? We have a motion and a second.
You do.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. 7-0.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Hammond. See, Mrs. New,
Yep.
staffing and programming report.
I want to take 1 second, if that's okay. So at these meetings lately, we've heard around some of the things we're trying to get ahead of for the future. And I asked, just give us a little bit of time. Just give us a little bit of time. Well, that time is now. I have empowered and charged Ms. New with chasing down a lot of the remedies to a lot of the concerns that were brought to the board or has just been brought to us along the way. And she's done a fantastic job of putting together a plan for next year, not waiting longer and longer, going into next year to address some of the concerns that have been brought up. And she's going to present some of that information to you tonight. But this is what I was talking about. They're going to just give us a chance to get and find the solutions. And Shannon's done a fantastic job of doing just that. So Shannon, will you walk us through some of those solutions?
Yep, so in the area of special education, the elementary is going to be aligned based on needs and instructional assistance. So I can't tell you that it's the same number per building, but the number of instructional assistants that are going to be assigned to our special education staff will be based on the number of IEPs and the severity of those IEPs. At the secondary level, we have shifted people around. So at middle school, we will have a resource teacher for 6th, 7th, and 8th. And at the high school level, we will have a 9, 10, 11, and 12 with aides available for them as well. That did require us to hire additional staff, one additional staff member, as well as you just approved that we were able to replace or that we went without a special education teacher at the middle school this year. We have replaced that one as well. So we are completely full there. We are centrally locating our applied skills class. It will be at BES and be grades kindergarten through 6. And then at the high school will be our applied skills class grades 7 through 12. Any questions on that?
So there won't be one at the middle school, correct?
Well, there will be. Those students will just now be at the high school, and they'll be going back and forth
Okay.
to the middle school.
In transportation, they'll still,
They'll
even
have
if they're
an
in Laurel, they'll still be transported to BES if they
Yes.
need to be.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, and if we should need from Mount
Okay.
Carmel as well.
Okay.
Is this the program where they're gonna move along with them as well?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Do you wanna explain that a little?
The middle school looping.
Um,
Middle school looping.
Yes. So if you're identified for this program and in 7th grade, you'll be with this, the aides will stay with the kiddos because they'll know and become masters, and they'll stay with the students as they progress through. We're actually doing that at all of our buildings now, because what we have found and data has shown is that aides that know their kiddos, if a teacher is absent, they fill that void better than a substitute. And there's no academic time lost.
Yeah. Especially if they're nonverbal, I can see that really being a positive because they can't exactly tell them what they need, and there's special cues that help with that.
Yep. They're the masters of their kiddos.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 2 years ago, they had to have an aide that signed. And she moved with that student from K through 5. And he's doing well this year, so.
In Challenge, we are going to be aligned in all 3 elementary schools. So 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 6th grade will get instruction in their classroom with differentiation coming within the classroom and during win time. Win stands for what I need. At 4th and 5th grades, it will be a self-contained classroom of 20 to 25 students that all met the requirements for the high ability program, which I'll be bringing the new high ability handbook to you over the summer. Any questions on Challenge? We'll talk more about that when we bring you the handbook too.
So will they be, I just have one question. Will they switch in and out at 4th and 5th grade, or they'll stay in that classroom altogether?
They'll stay in that classroom altogether. Now, they'll still have specials, lunch, recess, as a traditional class would, but they'll be in that class all day long.
Okay.
Question around if, just thinking forward, if those children are 4th grade in that structure and 5th grade, and then in 6th grade it returns to like traditional classroom without Challenge.
Well, they have Challenge. The needs are just met within the classroom.
Okay, so they're not pulled away.
Correct.
For they're just given differentiated assignments.
Yes.
Okay. Can I ask why? I'm just curious with if there was something you found with the grade levels or why that would be different.
We have 2 models at the moment. So with having 1 at the middle school and then the 2 at the outlying buildings, the programming wouldn't have been the same. And we're working really hard to keep it the same.
Okay.
So this allows all 3 models to function under the same umbrella.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. Elementary movements, we lost no positions this year. We were able to bring back. There were some movements, though, based on numbers. We have a formula that we've learned to determine class sizes. So with the growing number in certain grade levels, we did shift. But principals, I sat through these meetings, but principals did tell all of their teachers. So all teachers have been made aware of where they're going. BES is aligning per hallway so that kindergarten will be together, 1st grade will be together. So it will be by section, by grade. So we do have some movements taking place in elementary. The alignment of the bell schedule. This may sound simple, but it definitely was not. And as you know, I'm an elementary person, so I learned a lot in this process because I was like, why can't you just put them in pre-algebra? Because our bells don't align, Shannon. And I'm like, what do you mean our bells don't align? How do we share staff if our bells don't align? So the counselors, along with Ms. South and Mr. Liggett, we met weekly for about 3 months to figure out how to align our bell schedules. So as we go into next year, the middle school and the high school bells will align. So the first periods will be the same. Lunches will be the same. That was a big, big feat, but it also helps when you share as much staff as we do. But in this process, the middle school gained a full-time teacher, and we were able to work schedules. The counselors did an amazing job of aligning the schedules so that we're not sharing as many. We decreased the number of teachers that go back and forth between the two buildings. We noticed that it was hard if a middle school teacher or a middle school student had a question and the teacher was at the high school. It's difficult to align that. So our counselors and principals did a great job making that programming take place. Any questions on that?
Talking about alignment, so you cleared up the special time?
That would be at the elementary level, and yes, I'm sorry I skipped over that. All 3 elementaries will have the same amount of time spent in specials, lunch, and recess.
Thank you.
So it doesn't matter which building you go to, the scheduling will be the same. What that looks like yet, I'll get back with you because we're still working on that. But right now, it is looking very, very positive in that all 3 buildings' alignment will be the same and consistent for prep time.
And Shannon's been done a great job working with Ashley as well for BES so she can put her 2 cents in. And Ashley's already jumped into scheduling processes to make this possible. We don't want to get the cat out of the bag just yet about what those minutes look like because there's still some things to walk through, but they are going to be the same, which was the charge given to Shannon to make sure they were. And so she's done a good job.
And a lot of that difficulty in that alignment was that we share specials teachers. So some are at Mount Carmel one day or half a day, and then they go to BES. We were able to align that based on need. Everybody came to the table, and we were able to shift and move people and talk to teachers as well to make it work.
That was a big issue. I'm glad you got that, even though you're not completely done with it, but that was a
The important
issue.
parts are done.
Yes.
Now it's just the details.
Yeah.
Like I said, we have added 1 staff member, already been hired. We are watching 3 grade levels, just numbers with registration, open enrollment getting ready to happen. We really want our parents listening to enroll as soon as possible because you all know the best candidates, if we do need to hire, are in August or are in May, not in August. So we want to be able to keep an eye on our numbers and watch. Principals are watching. We are watching. So we just need as many people to register when open enrollment starts as possible.
Is enrollment open for everyone or just?
Not yet.
Or just kindergarten?
Right now it's still kindergarten, but that should be rolling out in the next week or 2.
For everyone?
For everyone. Yep.
Is that sooner than usual?
No, it's actually about the same. Last year, we did it, I believe, at the beginning of May, but we're going to a new system now. So it'll be the middle of May.
Through final forms.
Yes.
Shannon, didn't you have like a kindergarten roundup here a few
We
weeks
did.
ago? And
We
I
did.
heard the first day of the numbers, but I never heard any more after that. How did that go?
We have 104 registered for kindergarten as of today. Some of those students in that number are already preschoolers with us, so they have to officially register when we open enrollment. And we normally get, I think Kendra and I figured out today, between 30 to 40 throughout the summer, but we'll have to wait and see.
But looking good.
Yes.
Shannon, I want to, if you're finished with your list.
Mhm.
So we had a bit of a lift, right? And so we talked about inequities around staffing, talked about inequities between the 3 elementaries around programming. We talked about finding or balancing staff as a whole and having a good system of staffing, which is deciding on a common denominator that we were going to use every single time. So it could almost be anticipated, when will we add a teacher or how many teachers do we need in a particular grade, which is a little bit different than I guess it's been done in the past, where it was more like, who do you already have, and then kind of fit everybody in. I was surprised to hear some of that. So we've instituted this, and then here's the biggest part about all of this is that for each of these decisions, the people are at the table, right? So when we talked about the challenge decision, Shannon brought the challenge teachers to the table, right? And said, okay, let's talk about what's possible. And not everybody gets everything they want. That's not actually collaboration. Collaboration is hearing all the voices that influence the decision. And so Shannon's done a great job around that. We brought all principals in to the staffing meeting where we actually staffed the 3 elementaries in front of all 3 elementaries. So there was no secrets as to how we got to what we got and when did we decide to split and how does that function. They were all in a room and we did all the math together. At one point it was almost choral, as I'd say, and how many sections? And they'd say, there are 4. And so we got down to like really getting the right people at the table all the time. And Shannon has taken the lead on all these projects to make sure that we are taking our next step as a corporation, as promised. Given a little bit of time, we're gonna chase down solutions, and we're doing just that. We have more things to solve, no question about that. But when you think about the things that have been brought to the board, or even after the board meeting when we met with every grade level at BES, sat with them, every grade level, said, talk to us, and they were phenomenal. They really were. They were willing to talk and to say, how about this and how about that. It was really a great day of conversation, but chasing down solutions. I just want to give Shannon the credit she deserves. And then she's working with Kendra along the way because Kendra is the, yes, we can afford that person. And so they work really well together. And sometimes I could hear them bickering across the door, and I just let them work it out. And they do. And so that's where we land. So just when you let great people do great things happen, right? And so I've gotten out of the way and let them just run that, and they've done a phenomenal job. So a little update for everybody.
I do have a question.
Yes.
You're going to have people come in and request, and you know that as well as I.
I do.
And do you have how are you going to allow that, or
Can I give you my principal answer and how it'll carry over to hopefully to my what I've coached the principals to answer the question when it comes to.
You don't have to tell me now if you.
No, it's okay. I know the answer to this one. We've
Okay.
already had it come up. Parents think like parents. Parents see things from the outside looking in. Speaking as a parent, I would be lying to you if I told you I didn't have particular teachers that I wanted my children to have. But the school has the data and the models and the placement, and there are a lot of people that come to the table when we place kids that a parent might not see from the outside. So as they come to us, we're asking them to trust our judgment, to trust. And if it doesn't go as we think that it will, we'll be glad to come back to the table and have that discussion. But it muddies the water quite a bit when we give those requests to parents when they walk in the door. And it makes it very difficult, not only for our families, but for our staff as well. So this puts the control back with our principals and allows them to rely on data, which is what we need to. That has just been something that we'll talk more about when I bring the challenge to you, just because it's a totally different mindset, the approach we're taking with challenge. But I think that's the key there, is letting, as parents, we always think our children are great. We always think if we challenge them the right way or that connection. But I think Dustin has said it many times just in the few board meetings that we've had together, our staff is extremely caring. That is something that we do well. And the special ed team, the challenge team, general ed team is working to make those grade assignments. And then the principals and I will sit down and look at those together to see which teachers, which kiddos.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, that's okay. I actually knew that answer.
Okay.
She's ready. Thank you, Shannon.
I will say thank you as well. The committee meetings we've had, per the discussions that have taken place with staff and the data and everything you guys looked at for challenge, but also addressing the issues with special ed and everything else. I think you're doing a great job of trying to address everything, you and Mr. Gearing and Kendra. Well, definitely won't leave Kendra out.
Listen, curriculum's all them.
She keeps us all in line, but it's been great to see the progress, very quick progress, and I think we're moving in the right direction. I will say this again later, but these committees, it's still new for a lot of us, but hopefully we'll start having more updates on these committees If nothing else, we'll move on. Next is recommendation for food service contracts.
So Jessica DeFawcett, our food service director, and the superintendent is recommending that we purchase from the following companies. And so we have a list here. I'll just go through them pretty quickly. U.S. Foods and Premier, Piazza Produce and Specialty Foods, DNO Produce and U.S. Foods, Dairy Farmers of America, Prairie Farms, Alpha Bakery, Klosterman, Commercial Food Systems, Velvet Ice Cream, Smart Mouth Pizza, and Smart Systems. I will say out loud that I find that Jessica does a great job of working through her vendors list to find what is best, the best deal, and also what our kids are going to eat. And I've actually never experienced kids eating the way that they do here. I've never seen that in all my years, but our kids are blessed. They are blessed with the quality of food. I eat lunch a lot when I land at schools. I'll sit down with the kids and eat whatever they're eating, and it's exceptional. I'm not real picky, as you can probably tell, but I don't know why you're laughing, Katie. I don't know what that's all about. Just teasing. But no, they are very blessed, and Jessica and her team, honestly, her team do a phenomenal job. So that will require first, second, question, discussion, and a vote.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Foster, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Brennan, second to approve the food service contracts. Any discussion, questions? If not, all those in favor, raise your right hand. 7-0. Then we have the 2025 student handbook changes for elementary, FCMS, and FCHS.
And I'll just talk through both of these because it's also the academic handbook changes. In your packets are those handbooks. You'll see a significant change to the student handbook portion. We did a lot of work this year to create alignment and to ensure that we're seeing things across the corporation. One big area was around our code of conduct. We standardized that as well, where it's all in one place, and you can kind of read through it from top to bottom rather than paragraphs in random places that were by alphabet based on the infraction. That's a little bit difficult to follow. So we cleaned all that up. None of that is about having less outcomes for the same behavior. That's actually not true at all. It just aligns the story, as in what happened, with what are possible outcomes as well. And so you'll see that in the 100, 200, 300, 400 level. That's all in there. We also created an alignment around a lot of our systems by having a central office portion of the handbook that a lot of things moved into. So the buildings were in charge of the front portion, things that relied to them for middle school dances, high school dances, the rules around drop off and pick up and things like that. The back side is the same across the board. So we all chipped in on that. You didn't see crazy language change, just alignment change. We changed the way things were aligned. I hope that as we start this process and we come back again next spring and we go to revise, the revision process can really add some new ideas as we finally have everything really organized well. I hope you find it to be the same way. The academic changes were already brought to you by Mr. Frank, and they are incorporated into the handbook, and so that handbook is for next year, but you've already heard about those changes. This is info only today, action in June, but I welcome any questions or discussion about any of those items.
I have a question.
Huh?
I mean, it's so massive, you know, when you take the time and you try to go through line items. Your film was nicely done, by the way. But, I mean, whenever these changes occur, could they not be highlighted in some fashion? That way we make it a little bit more clear. I mean,
I think as we go forward,
yeah,
that's a very, very real. To be honest with you, this would have been an entire book of highlights.
Yes,
because it all got organized differently. But
exactly.
Going forward, absolutely. Yeah. You shouldn't see significant changes going forward.
I have a couple questions. The codes on the side of the disciplinary, or yes. And I saw that they were all the same and all the, is that just to enter that into the computer? Is that what that is? Okay. And then,
it's also for the letters that go home. If a letter wasn't home, and also for data collection. So we can go by code and tell you how many occurrences we had of this code or that code, and we can get down to who did it, how often, and what services do they need.
okay. And then I have, when you pass the handbooks out, both academically and discipline, or not, I shouldn't call it discipline, what's it called?
Code of conduct.
Code of conduct. Do they sign a paper saying that they've read it?
So
Do
they, as a part of the registration process, they acknowledge it. By registering with us at all, they acknowledge that they will follow
Got
it.
it. They got it.
Yeah.
And is that for both the academic and the,
I don't know if the academic's on there or not. I'll have to check. I'll have to check on academic.
I would say with as many changes as we're having with the academics, that might not be something that they need to maybe add.
And to be clear, the academic handbook didn't have a significant number of changes. That was what Mr. Frank brought you in the winter, but I don't mind what you're saying. In fact, after we're finished, we're gonna send it out to parents, outside of just the registration, just so that they have it, as well, so they get a chance to look at it.
Okay.
Good questions.
And I'll say this again, and correct me if I say this wrong, but this was more of a streamlining process to get everything in a more organized manner and easier to find and sift through.
Yes, so there were no.
Not a new handbook or new rules or anything like that, just organization.
The rules of school haven't changed. There is new language that's coded different and lined up different, but what you couldn't do this year, you also can't do next year. Or what you are expected to do this year, you're also expected to do next year. But it does give us a way to communicate with parents with the code lines around why is this important, is this bigger or smaller as far as an infraction goes, and what's the story behind the outcome. And so that there's listed there the interventions as well, which are the discipline outcomes that are suggested for those particular levels, which is the same thing you had before. It just puts it all in one place, and the language just is a little thinner and more streamlined.
I have one more, and I'm sorry. The absences, did we change anything in the wording of the absences?
We cleaned it up quite a bit. So what our team found was that there's a lot of confusion around, is it the 10th? Is it after the 10th? And what's this letter mean? What that letter means? So what you'll see in there is there's a thing that creates confusion, but it's actually necessary. It's called excessive absences. So an excessive absence, someone who's been designated as excessive, means that they've reached their 10th absence at all, right? And so if you've missed 10 days at all, haven't been at school for any reason, you get deemed as excessively absent. After being deemed as excessively absent, if your parent sends a note in, that won't excuse the absence. That doesn't mean we expect everybody to go to the doctor all the time. There's still a lot of headroom here before the next things happen, but at some point you do have to draw a line and say, look, only third parties from now on, doctor, court, whatever. So excessive absence with the doctor, there's going to be a letter that tells a parent, hey, you reached that level. There's also a 5-day unexcused letter that exists now and will exist again next year. That's just a heads up. 10-day unexcused absence letter, also a heads up, but it gets sent to other third parties because we're required to by law to send it to them. Now, in all truth, our prosecutor has a lot on their plate already, and I don't know that the 10th unexcused absence is getting a lot of action from them just yet. But what I've also added for this coming year is a superintendent hearing. So on your 15th unexcused absence, I'm going to ask to have time with the parent and the student to talk about what's going on and what's needed. And if they're not willing to work with me, that's just one more layer for our prosecutor to understand, like, hey, I tried my best. I haven't gave them time with the superintendent, and yet here we are. Or if we see more unexcused absences keep showing up, then that'll be one more layer. But I figure I need to throw myself into that ring. If I'm asking my principals to jump in and my teachers to jump in and the parents to jump in, I'm going to jump in too. So you'll see that language in there too.
Okay, do we use a truant officer?
So we have
one.
Rick,
Rick.
And his role would be to go to houses and knock and just say, hey, your kid's absent today. Since COVID, that really hasn't happened.
Right.
In fact, it was about February when I learned that was part of a role that we could have, because I was actually going to knocking on some doors, and there were some dogs that were greeting me at my car door along the way. But yes, we do have that person, but they really deliver letters, which honestly, we email a lot of that stuff as it is. Good questions.
Timelines are the same for all buildings, right?
Yep. Everything is concise, and it's all on the same minute mark.
I just had one comment. It was on the academic handbook, and I like the layout of it. As an educator and as a parent, I felt that it gave them right from the beginning what to anticipate, and I did not noticed that in our previous handbooks.
Okay.
I
So
agree.
I
I
appreciate
agree.
that. Core 40, pathway, everything, it was right there, and there isn't any way that they can say they didn't understand or the student, so that was very, very good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Kudos to the team on
Yeah.
that.
So again, that's just information only, no action. Hopefully next board meeting, we will.
Yep.
So any other questions, discussion? If not, we'll move on. Next item is other, and I see nothing, so we will move on to superintendent's report.
Just two items. First and foremost, we are looking for high school volunteers to help our staff, our elementary staff in particular. We know there's some room changes and some room packups, and so the last time I looked, we just had a couple, but I got room for a bunch more. So if anyone's listening and has a high school student that wants to help volunteer, just go right back to the email I sent out around volunteers. It's also on Facebook. But the last 2 days of school, we're looking for half a day on Thursday and on Friday the whole day. I know that's a difficult lift, and not everybody's going to want to do it, but our teachers could really use the help, the physical help, and they'll be packing boxes and moving stuff around. So anyone willing to jump in on that from the high school will be very much appreciated. Second thing is I have a very exciting news. I sent a message out. I heard a lot about the 1003 waiver. One of the things I heard clearly from folks here as well as other superintendents is don't worry, they'll never approve it. Great news, we got ours approved. So thank you very much. And so our 1003 waiver has been approved. And for the next 3 years, we have an opportunity to have 3 professional learning days for our staff within the school year. So the school year will drop to 177 for our students, and our staff will come in those 3 other days, which will be scheduled. They will not be work around a snow day. It will not be instead of this or instead of that. They are scheduled so we can plan them and have our principals planning them. What I learned when I got here, which I just wasn't used to, is that FCCSC has been a professional learning desert. For a long, long time, our teachers have not had a great opportunity to do some learning on corporation time and to do it together. And so I'm so excited to be able to bring this to them for the next 3 years, 3 days where we come together and we talk about data, we talk about the reading curriculum, we talk about math, we talk about SAT, we talk about PBIS and the culture of the classroom. These are the goals of these 3 days, and to see significant time that we can spend on those topics for our teachers is just fantastic. I'm really excited. This is what I've been used to in my career, is having these days to help build our staff. And so when I got here, I kind of lost my words a little bit around how are we going to grow the most, right? What's the plan to grow the most? And so we were doing our absolute best with our early dismissals, but those are what they are, right? And they're often nuts and bolts items because that's when the principals have time with their staff. So to be able to really dedicate this time to help our teachers, help our kids grow the most is very exciting. And I can't wait to see what comes out of it. And more to come on all the topics and all the details and all the planning. We just got the notice, and we just worked today with our discussions group around where are we going to place those 3 days. So more to come in June. I will send you a calendar before to say here's what we're proposing, ask questions, and then we'll go ahead in June. But I want to get it out to parents as a pending board approval item, knowing that we're coming back in June to look at the new calendar. And so we'll have a new calendar for next school year. We are still starting at the same time, not to worry. So if you have vacations planned, nothing's changing on that end. There were 2 changes that I know we're having to make. One is the PD days. Then second, we had to shift the last day of school by 1 day because we went back and counted our days up. And first year superintendent, although I had a ton of people check it out, I finally had someone say to me, "Hey Dustin, did you know?" And I'm like, "Where were you a month ago?" So we're good. So all that's coming in the next month, but very, very exciting news. I am thrilled. That's my update.
That's excellent. I'm really happy to hear that. So, I mean, even though it sounds like just 3 days, imagine, our staff and educators work so hard, head down, chopping wood every day. They're at it. It is so important to take that time for professional development, growth, recharge, refill the cup, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So that is tremendous. That's a big deal. Other question too, and this is just from a parent lens, and some parents might be wondering, what does that day look like at home for the child? Is it just a day off?
It's a day off.
Okay.
So it's not an e-learning day that we have to prepare for. It's not a synchronous learning day. that the kids will be home and our teachers will be learning.
Excellent.
I've got a question for you, Dustin, on this. The school bus contracts will be paid.
Yeah,
for
those are 3-year contracts. They
meetings.
haven't changed.
All right. My one question is Batesville got this waiver for last year. One of the things they'd done because the school buses weren't running, but yet the contractors were getting paid, was had them come in for CPR training.
Oh, that's a great idea.
On that day. And then
Okay.
another day they used to have them clean the buses since they
Oh.
were getting paid anyhow.
You know what? That's a great idea, and our team can come together around what each category of our folks could be doing. I know that we're going to have our certified and classified folks in learning sessions because they're already budgeted that way. But other groups for sure will need to. That's a great idea.
I want to put you on the spot for 2 things real quick.
Okay.
Number one, are you more excited about what this waiver can provide in education, or more excited that you got it passed when you were told? You don't
Come on now. Come on now.
No, you don't have to answer that.
But you know the answer. No, I'm teasing.
Lastly, and you may not have anything, but this is the last public board meeting before graduation. Anything you want to say or put out there leading up to graduation coming up?
I keep asking that team, "Are you good? Are you good?" And they keep telling me we are good. We are absolutely good. I'm so excited to be able to shake the hands of all of our seniors as they cross my first class of seniors. To be able to tell them that they can move their tassel from one side to another. I'm excited to have that opportunity. What a great bunch of kids, honestly. They're just a great group of seniors. The ones I've had a chance to meet along the way. They will be missed greatly, but others will fill in shoes. But no, I am excited for the opportunity that is presented to me to do this. It's going to be a good day.
Are we,
Does the board have any, I mean, at one time, the board was required to be on stage. Now, has that changed?
So what I understand is that the stage size puts you guys on the side, on the turf. The word requirement's a strong word. I don't have things that you have to do, but we would love for you to be there along the way. And then typically, or going forward, the board president will be up shaking hands of each graduate along the way. I will be up on top. Shannon will be too. And then, of course, Michelle and Jake will be up there as well.
And check your FCC email because Dustin and I got our formal invites today.
Yes,
So
you-
I know that
You should have
they're
received
coming.
an invite today from Ms. South.
I got one from the South.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do we wear gowns or is it just formal?
Ooh.
Ooh.
What do you guys do here?
we
It was
have
formal
done
last
both.
year.
What do you want?
We have them here if you guys choose to wear them.
I would suggest
They're
it needs to be a whole board decision because I don't
Yes.
want one
That's-
poor person to be.
I call the shortest one already.
So I'm
I
just
call the
saying,
shortest
if you
one.
guys choose
I got it.
as a group, yeah.
What would you like to do? And I'll make sure we make arrangements to wear just a formal attire, or would you like to wear some kind of graduation gown? I'm getting shakes at the end.
Mr. Simonson, I think he ought to speak on this.
What do you
Well, I
think?
like the more formal aspect
Yes.
for the kids.
Yeah.
So I've been through a number of different places, so,
What would your preference be?
gown.
Greg?
I'm all right with that.
It's hot when it's 90 because we're in black, but it does look more formal.
You wear shorts under.
Yeah.
All right, you two? Preferences?
Gown, yeah.
I'm good.
Randy, willing to
I would
compromise?
prefer not to wear a gown. But
I just prefer to have formal attire and not wear the gown, but
Ooh.
this is Kevin, you're the tiebreaker. I think.
I got
You have
two
something to think
and
about for
four.
the next few days. No, I will leave it at that. Think about it. My initial
Make a
thought-
decision.
No,
They have
well,
to order 'em. They have to order 'em.
here's my 2 thoughts, and it's not going to help, but I'm going to tell you. I went to the Ivy Tech graduation the other day. That's at the end, but I'll say it now. Congratulations to all the Ivy Tech grads that we
absolutely.
had. We had a lot.
Yeah.
And,
23.
I videoed some of them, and I missed the second group because it's hard to see who was coming up. But my daughter was one of them, so it was exciting. But my point was, the Board of Trustees was wearing gowns. Mr. Gutzweiler was a member of that.
Pictures look good.
Flip side, to me, I think the gowns are for the kids, and like I could see. Here's how I look at it. We're elected we're not part of the administration, so that's how I would see that. But I am fine either way, but I would leave it as, think about it over the next couple of days, and we'll decide. I
The
don't
only
think we need
thing
a
is
board.
they have to order if we don't have
I thought
enough
Kendra said
to-
we have them.
Well, if we don't have one that fits.
You just want to make sure.
Mike Longs.
I get the short one.
We got
Kendra, what are you saying on that?
We have them if you
Okay.
choose as a board to wear them,
Okay.
if we have them.
All right. We'll put a message out, but right now we're at 4-2, and Kevin has not decided.
Anything else on the superintendent's report?
That's it for me, sir.
Well, it's gonna be frowned upon if I wear shorts underneath, and now I have 3 layers. Legislative updates.
Go ahead.
Obviously, the big one was Senate Bill 1, or the House bill that it changed to, about property taxes. And Kim asked about this earlier. I will say the way it turned out, one, I'm not gonna put a number out there because I don't wanna be held to a number. I think it could have been a lot worse, could have been a lot better, but I don't think it's nearly as bad as it could have been or what was expected. But that's what Kendra said, which I hope Kendra's getting some more sleep now. I know she was stressed out for a while, and I told her, I'm like, look, we have one thing that we don't know, and there's nothing, I mean, in reality, there's not a lot we can do about it, so just get some rest. But you have anything else to add to that?
We are in touch with our financial consultants, and they've given us some preliminary ideas, but even they say they are not sticking by those numbers because the way that the DLGF is interpreting the law, there's a lot to it. There's a lot of moving parts. So August will be very big for us. And then, of course, we also looking at something in 28 around the local tax as well, and how that's going to impact us. So more to come for sure. It is not. It doesn't seem to be at the point where it could have been. That's fair, right? But any kind of reduction is a difficult lift because we do run thin. We really do. This team has done a great job of maintaining a really important cash balance so that we could navigate the storms that come. But this will be a storm that we'll have to be leaning on some of that and making some moves as we approach it. So more to come.
I hope Kendra agrees. I think there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It's not as bright as we hoped it would be, before this session, but I think we'll find a way through it and make it work and move forward. Anybody else have anything they want to add to the legislative updates? Next is future agenda requests. Anybody have any? If not, I will go back to what I said earlier. We all have some committee assignments and other staff on committee assignments. One of the goals that we discussed in leading up to that, this is somewhat new in having these regular meetings. So, if it's deemed productive or we feel they're productive, I think at some point soon we need to start having an agenda item for committee reports. So we know what's going on. We're not all on all the committees. It's set up that way for a reason. So whoever's on those committees can report to everyone else when we come in here. So again, I'm not saying it's going to be there next month, but just what's something to start thinking about. Okay. If nothing else, recognition and acknowledgements.
Just had a card there.
We have a thank you card from the Joy Durinsky family. Sent a card to the admin staff. Guess we'll just leave it at that. Thank you card from the Durinsky family. Yes.
Yeah, if you're finished, I have
Yep.
two things. I did get a chance to go to the prom. Great job, Amy, Randy, Miss South, all the kids, 300 kids. I mean, it was amazing. Tanya, the after prom, I was hoping she would stay, but she had 100 kids there and all that food's donated. I mean, it's really a community event. So I wanted to bring recognition to that group. Also, too, we too had a loss in the family. So we just wanted to thank everybody for the card and planning.
Thanks, sir. And I will say one more time, congratulations to the Ivy Tech grads.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Saw that one Friday night, and then at a softball game, another school was having theirs, so it was, a lot of places were having that, and it's great to see for all the kids. Anything else? With that, we will adjourn at 7:20.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good night, and the next regular school board meeting is 6 p.m. Monday, June 9th, here at the admin building.